Shelby here. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. Glad you all are with me today. Today's video is going to be my July mid-month wrap-up. I can't believe we're already over halfway through July. I say that in every video that I do for my wrap-ups, but it's the thing. And we're also doing another video with me holding my baby because she did not like my plan of put her in the bouncer and let her entertain herself. Yeah, that did not go well. So this should be a very short video, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. I have been in the worst reading slump for July. I read 4 books in the first half of July, and 2 of those books were novellas. If that told you anything about how I've been feeling with reading, I try things and I pick things up and I don't like them, I can't get into them, or I just in general have not really felt like reading, which is unusual for me. I'm usually always reading. So I'm hoping, now that I'm filming this, going into the latter half of July, I'm hoping that this will change and that I will pick up some books that I really am enjoying, because right now it's just, everything's just been blah and I just haven't really cared for anything. So we're going to talk very quickly about the 4 books that I read, because honestly I wasn't as super into them, so I don't really remember a ton of what happened in them as well, because I really wasn't feeling them. So the first book is going to be Hot Girl Summer by Daisy Jane. I actually read this as a buddy read with a friend of mine, which is unfortunate because after reading this I feel like kind of sort of started my slump. But this is a step-sibling romance. This is about our 2 characters. Their parents got married when I think he was in high school and while she was like in college, and then they've kind of done their separate thing, and they never actually like met each other. Like, she has met his other siblings, but she's never met him. So they are going to this like lake house that their parents bought because they're wanting to renew their vows, and this is the first time that these characters meet. And when they meet, they're instantly attracted to each other, and they decide that they're gonna have kind of, it reminds me of like the one night stand trope, except it's gonna be like a over the summer, and they're just gonna get all these sexual feelings out of the way so that they can be siblings like they're supposed to. So of course that doesn't really happen the way they want it to. I gave this 2 stars. I really did not enjoy this. The steam on this is pretty high, and I did enjoy the steamy scenes. However, I had lots of problems with this book. Number 1, there was way too much focus on secondary characters and what was going on in their lives and what was happening with them. Like, it almost felt like I was reading another romance about other characters, and I don't really like that. I want to read my romance about these 2 main characters. I did like the taboo nature of it because they're step siblings and they're like, oh, we can't do this. The other thing that I didn't care for this was that it has a thing that happens in here that I just don't really care for, where the author will have outside factors moving the plot forward, that the characters don't really grow on their own. There's something else outside that happens that forces the characters to grow and change. So I don't really care for that in my books. So those are the big things why I just didn't really care for this one. Then the next book starts my kind of saga, and this will go into my end of the month wrap up as well. I've been trying out some different Omegaverse because that's kind of one of the only like tropes at the moment that's somewhat appealing to me to read. So I read Not So Perfect Omega, which is the first book in the Omega Match duet series. I'm not really sure how many books are in this. I know there's at least 2. This is by Nicole, so this is Omegaverse. This is about our heroine, and she has a twin sister, and they're both Omegas, and they are at this like Omega academy of sorts, and they're about to like graduate, and there's this like match computer system thing that they can like put their name into if they want to find an alpha or pack, and they can like list like an order of like their preference. So her sister's like the perfect omega, and she's absolutely not. She doesn't really care about finding a pack. She just doesn't really want to. So she doesn't enter into this, but then on match day, her sister doesn't get any matches, and she ends up matching with a pack, and she's like, what is going on? I didn't put this on there. So she goes to meet with this pack, and it's this pack that she doesn't really care for, but of course, as with like all romances, they have an instant attraction, and they decide to kind of see how things go. I gave this one 3 stars. The steam on this was high. This is a reverse harem story as well. This was fine. I just thought it was kind of predictable, especially the secondary plot where there was like, why she didn't enter her name? Who could have put her name in there? Why would somebody do that? Like, it was very predictable. And I don't know, I just didn't really care for that, and I just kind of thought it could have been done a little bit better. Hi. Then the next 2 are novellas. So the next one is going to be 11 Hours by Octavia Jensen. This one is actually pretty good. This is probably my favorite that I read. Maybe my favorite that I read in the first half of July. So this is about 2 coworkers, and I think they work at a law office maybe, and both of them are there at their work late, and they are catching the elevator, whatever, and they don't get along, and they end up, their elevator gets stuck, and they end up getting stuck on this elevator together for 11 hours until somebody comes and rescues them. So that's kind of why this book is called 11 Hours. The steam on this is high, and of course it has like the forced proximity trope. I really liked how this one was done. I could really feel the sexual tension between these 2 characters, and you could really feel like the hate that they had toward each other, but at the same time they're so attracted to each other that they finally just like give in because they've just been together in this very small enclosed space for 11 hours. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and this author has some other novellas that are kind of similar to this, I think, so I really want to try to like pick some of those up and see how I like those as well, because I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. And then the last one that I read for the first half of July is going to be Pack Origin. This is a prequel novella to the Blissful Omegaverse series by Kate King and Jessa Wilder. So this is another Omegaverse story, and this is another reverse harem story. This one, since it is a prequel novella, there isn't really a ton of steam to this. This is about our heroine, and she lives in a like a children's like group home, or like a foster home, I guess, with these guys who are alphas, and they have become like best friends with each other. And so this is mostly just like an introduction to these characters. They're in high school, and our heroine hasn't presented on whether she is alpha, beta, or omega, and throughout the course of this story they are like hanging out, and one of the guys dares her to kiss one of the other guys, and by her kissing him, this kind of helps her become who she's going to be, and she finds out that she is an omega, and then some things happen, and she ends up going to this omega like school, like boarding school, and she doesn't really like that. So it just kind of sets up the story for the first book of the series. I give this 4 stars, even though it doesn't have really like any steam to it. I thought it was a really good setup for the story, although I honestly don't really know why this couldn't have been in the first book. I don't really know why this had to be like a prequel novella, but whatever. And I really like that it, like I said, introduced us to all the characters in the story. So that's going to be up for my wrap up for the first half of July. I did read the first book. You know, stay tuned for my end of the month wrap up, because I did read the first book of the Blissful Omegaverse series, so you can kind of find out where that story goes and my thoughts on it. But yeah, this is going to be it for this video. If you like this video, make sure you give a thumbs up. Like I said, I'm hopeful that the next one I'll have some more books to talk about. It's been a very slow reading month. And I'm hoping to find some books that will help me kind of get out of the slump that I'm in. We'll see how things go. So anyway, like I said, make sure you give a thumbs up if you like this video, comment about some of the books that you've been reading, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to see more videos from me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye guys!